What's going on, everyone? Joe and Mike and Zack back again. BuildAssetsOnline.com. Three bald guys, one cup, back for another stream. Today we have one of those.
Because we come.
Today we have one of those pesky success stories with one of our students. Zack was, I don't want to say lucky enough, but skilled enough, had the drive, the wherewithal to create a drop shipping store, sell it for six figures, and here we are again today. We're going to talk about his journey and everything that went along with it. So, welcome to the stream, Zack.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Now, you're in. Can we say where you are right now? You've been all you told us
I'm,
about your.
I'm everywhere. Right now, this week I'm in Mexico City. Next week I'll be in Medellin, Colombia, and be around the world for the next year.
Nice. So, are you doing this for? Well, actually, why don't we start with a little bit of your background, because we were talking a little bit about what you were doing before this. It seems like a lot to unravel. So, um,
Well, this might be a very long stream if we get into all that. The very quick version and going into how I got into high ticket. So around like 2016, I ended up in China. I got a call at 2 in the morning saying, I want you in China tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. And it ended up being like one of the biggest e-commerce companies in the world, like top five Chinese Amazon seller, doing probably about 350 plus $1 million a year. And so I was super full time in that company and loved every minute of it. Got to sell everything from supplements to sex toys to smart home to anything you can imagine. Uh, Software. I was public speaking all around China, stuff like this. Then, after a little bit of time there, like over a year, I left and started doing my own stuff and started consulting for all of the biggest nine-figure companies in China, and that worked really well up until the pandemic. So I walked outside, I saw everyone with a mask on. I'm like, fuck no, I'm out. I'm out right now. And booked a ticket, went to Thailand. And a month before, I was just in Thailand for Affiliate World, and I ran into some people doing high ticket dropshipping. And basically, they were, like, going out with them for the night and then seeing their phones just constantly pop up with like $2,000 sales, $3,000 sales. And I'm like, I can do this. And so when I ended up like stuck on the beach after being exiled from China, um, started to do a store. I did one of kind of these done for you things at first, hit up one of my friends that's really good at this, and dropped like 7K on a package, and that failed miserably. But I just decided to kind of not give up. One of my other friends had a couple stores for sale, um, and I bought a couple of them, and one of them ended up getting pretty good. At first, it wasn't. I had to do quite a bit with it, but that's how I got into high ticket drop shipping.
so I want to. Mike's frozen. He's traveling right now, but I want to talk about the Done For You store
Hmm.
for a minute here. So we've kind of spoken out against these Done For You stores in the past,
Hmm.
um, just because I feel like the starting phase of the store, when you're getting all the suppliers and doing all the
Hmm.
research, I just always felt like it makes the most sense to do that internally. Like for example, if you buy a website with like existing traffic, or like an affiliate site or some sort of site
Hmm.
monetized by ads and it has existing traffic, like organically, that's kind of different than just buying a drop shipping store that already has suppliers. I don't know. I just felt like there was no clear advantage to it.
Hmm.
But that being said, why do you feel as if um, the done for you thing didn't go well?
Um, well, I think there was just too much outsourcing and too little responsibility from different parties in there. I'm not going to name names, But I think the biggest thing was mostly niche selection. I think it was a niche that looked good on paper, but I think in reality was not a suitable niche for high ticket drop shipping. I
Hmm.
think it was outsourced to someone who then outsourced to someone who then outsourced to someone who then outsourced. Because obviously in Shopify you can log in and you can see where people are logging in from and stuff like this.
Hmm.
So you can tell that it's not the original person that you are hiring, or that these person might have dubious qualifications.
Mm.
Um, Not
Interesting.
to throw too much shade, but you know, uh, at that point it was more of a sunk cost thing where I'm like, okay, I should keep going with this.
So
But I did shut down that one store.
yeah, we don't have to name names, but like, so when you get the done for you store, what does it come with? You have, obviously, the store is designed, all that set up.
Mhm.
Do you have products on there? Like, what exactly
Yeah, that
happens?
one had, I think, like 60 products. I think I wouldn't buy a done for you store now with probably less than 500 products.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, yeah, so it's just not enough. You said it had like a niche, like that.
Yeah,
It
it
was kind of
was
niched down,
very very niche
niched
down.
down to. Yeah, yeah. Interesting, interesting.
Mhm.
Well, again, without naming names, I feel like that makes sense given the parties that you told me that you dealt with.
Mhm.
But anyway, so when did you like find build assets online? Like, did you apply our methods to one of the existing stores you already had? Did you start a new store?
Yeah. I think with by the time I had found you guys, I was already doing probably upwards of $80,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But what was super useful, I found people that were like in my city that were in your Discord group in Bangkok that I was able to meet up with, and quite a few members from your community like start talking with and start seeing like, does this make sense? Does this make sense? What did you really do here? Have people that would look at my ads and I would look at their ads and sites and stuff. So I think you have a really great community. And while I was trying to hit some of these bigger numbers, like looking at, your videos and some of the stuff was pretty inspirational. And I think I was able to find, some of the sites of some of your students. And also, I think I might have found your sites and found some really cool stuff that maybe I wasn't doing, or some different ways to think about some of these websites.
Right, right. And we were talking briefly before this call, and this is something. So I want to talk about this for a second because it makes for good advice and an interesting discussion. So there are lots of different ways to make a profitable website. I mean, all you have to do is get the right intent traffic, and whether you're selling something, if you're promoting an affiliate product, that's really all you need. You mentioned you had some other, different affiliate sites that you work on and whatever. And I'm sure, as you know, if you get the right type of users that are interested in the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
you're promoting as an affiliate, then you're going to make money. That's just what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the best path going forward, this is something that me and Mike have been thinking about a lot. And it's not that every dropshipping student has to do this out of the gate, but once you practice and you realize how to drive that high intent traffic, I think it makes the most sense to build a store around like a customer avatar,
Mm-hmm.
and then, because that way you can monetize it in multiple different ways. So was the store that you ended up making, that you sold, did it
Mm-hmm.
have that in mind at all, or was it just selling a bunch of different stuff?
It was mostly a lot of different types of appliances and stuff like this. And I liked it because it was very standardized in terms of what people want. Because I'll tell you a store I had that didn't do so well, and that was a dog website.
Mm-hmm.
And people would hit me up all the time, and they're like, "Hey, is this going to fit my dog?" And I'm like, "I have no fucking idea, and I also don't really care to answer this question. Like, I don't want to look into this. I don't really." care. But when people are like, hey, I have this size, I need something that fits this size, the questions became very like standardized. Customer support became very easy. And
Was this a
so
high
something like
ticket dog site or was it something
yeah,
else?
yeah. I mean, everything from dog treadmills and dog crates that were like $3,000 and stuff like that. And,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I just kind of bought that one. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of room there, but it's someone has to be very patient to take a site like that. And then
Yeah.
also, the demographics of customers I was dealing with, these are people that mostly had, just bought a second home, or, I've had like Netflix buy from me. I've had like Hyatt hotels buy from me. I've had like different minor celebrities buy stuff from me where their assistants are like talking with me, because these are like very, luxury products. And it's cool, high end restaurants would come and they're like, hey, we need like six of these, seven of these. And I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
So,
That's the store you ended up selling.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, yeah, like I said, if you don't have to have a success like a niche down customer avatar in every
Hmm.
situation, but yeah, that's
Yeah, no, it can absolutely help because that way you're able to kind of cross niches, instead of just having like one thing I really like about your approach is the sites that I see from all your students and you guys, is that they're a much broader type of store.
yeah.
A lot of people teaching this type of model earlier are like, take the most like be an expert at just baseball pitching machines and that's it, and don't sell any other baseball thing and don't do whatever, just do like very very niche down thing. And you are completely at the mercy then of a couple of suppliers or market demand on that one niche. But if you guys really are great at going much wider in a way that makes sense, and that's what I see from a lot of your students and
Yeah.
from some of your guys stuff too.
You know how we figured that out actually is because we were doing so our cousin Jared was doing this like stupid eBay dropshipping course,
Hmm.
and it was just he was just like listing like thousands and thousands and thousands of items on eBay and like drop shipping them from like Walmart or like Amazon or whatever, just marking them up like I don't know 15% or something ridiculous. And it was crazy how much of the stuff actually sold.
Hmm.
And it was just because he had was so broad and had so much stuff on there. And so yeah, our first site that we actually sold a while. I mean, this is many years ago. We sold it for like 85,000 or something.
Hmm.
Um, it was one of those niche down sites that you're talking about, but we had really nowhere to go with it.
Hmm.
So and then we decided that we're not going to do that again. And yeah, it was yeah, it's you kind of limit yourself, but I think there's merit in both things. Once you find if you have a certain product line that's working, um, I think it makes sense. You can make a niche down version of that
Yeah,
store.
and that was also becoming some of my approach, like have like a very big site, build out the niches and get the suppliers, and then make spin-off
Yeah.
sites so that you have multiple spots on the Google shopping results for those items. You might have like four or five chances to get a customer instead of just one.
Yeah. So you sold your store. And how long were you running it before you sold it? What was the kind of journey?
Yeah. So yeah, I bought the store in 2020, sometime during the pandemic, but I didn't do much with it because I just didn't really know how to handle a lot of the supply chain craziness. I think like my first month with the store, I sold like $50,000 of this one particular item, and then the supplier just kept pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back, and customers were getting pissed off because in 2020 they didn't realize that like everything was on super back order. And now they're used to it. Now you tell someone, oh, it's going to take 6 months, they're like, okay, it'll take 6 months. But before they had no idea how to react to something like this. And so I just ended up canceling a lot of those orders, and it wasn't good. So then in 2021 I kind of had it just running, and then I get a phone call just one day. This guy is like a custom home builder, and he wants to buy like 7 units, and I'm like, whoa, that's like a 16K order, like that, like, and that I should probably spend some time focusing on this. So I made that store like my main thing, and really focused on it. One sec, I'm getting a knock at the door.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, just wanted to add something. I was listening while my internet dropped out on my phone, but um, like when it comes to doing a niche down site versus the way that we do things, Joe, you were alluding to how it's good to be able to target like the customer avatar,
Wow. Yeah.
but I think that's something that is like the most advanced thing that you can do versus because I think probably you can go the farthest and have like a multi-million dollar exit by doing that. So you're serving one avatar really, really, really well, but you don't need that to get a six-figure exit.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had multiple six-figure exits without targeting a particular avatar. You just need to have enough products that are not super niche down, but like Zach talked about, it's like a bunch of kind of similar things so that you're not stuck with one thing, but you can figure out what works, and that's good enough for getting the majority of people to like some really, really good financial success. But the niche down thing is what you do when you want to take something to the multi-million dollar level.
Yeah, I was going a little bit off topic with the customer avatar thing, but to your point, I think, and Zach, maybe you could weigh in here with the way we build a store. If you want to take it to the largest exit it could be, well beyond six figures, 7, 8, maybe you can probably get. I mean, we're kind of 7 figures possibility, but say you want to get to Wayfair level.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need a huge operation to do that. And I feel like, I mean, I don't want to build another Wayfair, or like, I don't want to build another huge company. And that's
You're saying at the Wayfair level through the broad approach.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's so much work that I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's always kind of the approach. Like I'm always torn between building the really really big stuff and just balancing kind of the pain in the ass to profit ratio. I think is an important.
That's a big thing.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with building the sites, getting a 6-figure exit, doing it again, selling, exiting again the next year. There's a lot of appetite for a lot of stuff.
Did you coin that term just now, or is that a term that you've been using? The pain in the ass to profit ratio.
I've been thinking about that as I plan out my year, because I've had lots of different business ideas that I'm thinking of.
Okay. Yeah. No.
And that's something that we focus on a lot. But to take it back to the like the pitching machine example that Zach was talking about, like that's a little bit too niche down. But it's like if you do like a baseball type, if you have like a baseball audience, then you can sell them pitching machines, you can sell them batting cages, you can sell them all the high ticket products under that umbrella. But also now, like your audience, all your customers, exactly what they want. So you sell them, courses on how to hit a baseball, or like there's just a whole endless slew of other things that you could offer them once you have that audience harnessed. So that's kind of what we were talking about with.
When you look at how you really make money, I mean, you have like you either increase your total amount of customers, or increase the amount of times that they buy from you, or increase the amount that they're paying you. But each of these things kind of multiply each other. So if you can get people to come back and buy more, which can be pretty rare if you're selling only one type of product, but if you're selling, let's say you're selling stuff for like a bar, bars need lots and lots and lots of stuff, and they're going to keep buying from you. You're selling to offices, they're going to need furniture, they're going to need lighting, they're going to need HVAC, they're going to need all kinds of different stuff. Office fridges, whatever.
So you mentioned you spend a lot of time in China. You know, you visit different factories. You work in
Mhm.
a lot on the Amazon, selling. Worked with some companies that sell on Amazon, all that type of
Mhm.
thing. Um, so are you thinking about doing any sort of high ticket drop shipping slash, private labeling? Maybe it's taking some of the products that sell really well, finding a factory and doing that type of thing, or is that not on your radar?
It's not really on my radar right now. I'm kind of after sending out thousands and thousands of these high ticket items. I'm so sick of logistics and inventory that's what I want to take a break from. I'll still do like I'll hop back in I think in a couple months and build up some more of these stores for an exit after another year. But it's like I'm gonna wait for supply chain stuff to get a little bit better. Because right now it's about to be Chinese New Year. Then you have LA and Long Beach port workers have their contracts up, so that negotiation is going to be a shit show this year. And I just don't see things getting a lot better with the supply chain until like June, July.
So you're really on the pulse of this.
Yeah,
Like you
you
said,
have
you're
to
on
be. You
in
absolutely have to be. I mean, I book my own shipments, for a lot of this stuff. I don't necessarily have the suppliers do it because I'm better to actually able to get sometimes better rates, better control over the different routes. I know which carriers are good, which ones aren't, and yeah, because I deal a lot also with international shipping, so you need to know all this stuff. You need to know the storage, and that's the type of stuff that's going to give you a huge advantage on high ticket drop shipping and stuff like this, because no one else wants to do that kind of work.
Mhm. So, when a general note, you said you anticipate things getting better around June. Do you anticipate things going back to like 2019 level normal?
Not for at least another year. Um, and I think that has a lot to do with LA and Long Beach at the moment. So, I mean, it could be a good time to look into more international opportunities. I mean, for Amazon sellers, especially, a lot more are doing more Europe or even Japan because it's a 1 week ship time from China or
Mhm.
like Japan. But the level of how fucked logistics is and supply chain, it's worse in America right now than it is in most other places.
Mhm.
Um,
Interesting. So it's not really, yeah. And at this point, China isn't really the bottleneck, besides for the Chinese New Year thing, which is every year. But
mhm.
right now, it's issues at domestic ports that are causing a lot of the headaches we're seeing.
Yeah, and it has to do with everything. Like it's not even just the ports, it's also the truckers, it's the warehouses,
Yeah.
it's people quitting the warehouses. So then they aren't putting the stuff on the truck. The truck has to wait there a couple more hours. Then they miss
Yeah.
their like next three pickups, and then like it just ripples through the whole system.
And this doesn't only impact. I mean, I one thing I noticed is that I don't think this stuff only impacts drop shipping. I think it impacts really everything because I was just looking at some of our affiliate sites, and
Mhm.
it's there's like you see stuff that you sold out like on Amazon, other vendors. A lot of stuff is sold out that you promote affiliate
Mhm.
wise. So yeah, I feel like every sector of the
Yeah,
physical economy is impacted by
rough.
this.
Like it's really rough. I had to cancel like almost $250,000 in orders last year. Um, like that was heartbreaking.
So
Mhm.
so given that, I mean, you still managed to sell your store for six figures. So walk us through the process of you selling your store. What exactly happened? What broker did you go through?
Yeah, so I'm friends with a lot of different brokers and aggregators out there. I send a lot of people clients for Amazon sellers that want to get their best exit, and I'm pretty familiar with the whole process. But Empire Flippers is probably my favorite. I know almost the entire team over there. I know the founders. I know most of the C level. I know most of the sales team. I know most of the vetting team. I know the content team. Like, um, everywhere I go in the world, I just give someone at EF a call, like, "Yo, who's here?" And there's always somebody. So like even later tonight, I'll meet up with one of their heads of referral partners and grab a drink. So of course, I'm going with Empire Flippers. I love them. So I had to do like 3 weeks of vetting before. So we had to go through all of my numbers, all of my stuff, um, you know, and get it into their format. So I'd recommend reaching out to them either through me or just in general, and getting their kind of bookkeeping sheet, which I put in Joe and Mike's group. And you want to have your numbers in that format, so you're really capturing all the expenses like your credit card fees and stuff like this. And you need to figure out how to optimize those types of fees about like a year ahead of time. Um, for example, you can upgrade to the higher Shopify plan, and it'll actually save you, if you're doing volume, tens of thousands of dollars to do that. Um, and so, anyways, then once you do that, my business sold in 4 days after it was listed. It
Wow.
was really crazy. Lots of interest immediately. And, I've tried to sell some of my friends kind of lower ticket drop shipping sites, sourcing from China, and people are not interested in these at all right now. But people are really interested in the high ticket sites. And those seem to be going quite fast. So then after that, there was a transition period, migration period, and we had to go through, all the different open orders and all this stuff. But yeah, it all worked out. Cash is in the bank, and new owner is happy because as soon as he made the sale, he ended up, making an extra $50,000 in sales just about. So he's already making money from it and pretty happy.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's sold for like the asking price.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if it's that early, people aren't probably going to, no negotiation, no like lowball offers.
Yeah, I mean, when you're selling your sites, like for example, when you guys were talking earlier about, 7, 8 figure exits, you want to think about which price range fits different buyers, because, an 8 figure exit is going to be a totally different fucking process, and it's going to be really a much more limited pool of buyers. If you're in the 6 figure range below like 500K, you're pretty much like an impulse buy for a lot of people. And so you can go really quick. And so you want to figure out, where do you want to exit? What kind of buyers do you want to work with, and what you want this to be? Whether you want kind of a quick process, or whether you want to really try and maximize everything and try and go for like a big, VC buyer or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's something we're dealing with ourselves right now. And that's kind of why, like I said, for the majority of people, they're going to be very, very happy with a $300,000 exit, $100,000 exit, because it's so outside the norm of what people are typically doing in society. You have a job, you get paid X amount a year, but to actually get like an asset sale and get all that money at once is a life-changing thing. So it's so much easier to sell in that range, that 100 to 400 range. People will just buy it without even really caring. It kind of seems, but
they're not going to be looking at all your receipts and doing all this stuff, and like at like that range, you're going to be a pretty easy exit.
Yeah. And the truth is, I mean, what you're saying is, like Mike said, is something that we're dealing with right now, because I mean, at the end of the day, when we started this stuff back in 2015, we were just a couple of guys that wanted to make some money on the internet and not have to go to work. And then when you started getting into these 7-figure exits that you're talking about, there's a lot of terminology that maybe we have to get up to speed on. If we're gonna do one of these, because it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. The buyer it's a different buyer than when you sell it in the other price range.
Yeah, and I absolutely recommend for anyone that is considering an exit to talk with brokers and stuff very, very early in the process, almost like a year out. A lot of people wait until they're like think they're ready to sell, and then they find that they missed like these 2 or 3 things that would have added, like 50, 60,000 or more. So it takes like 3 seconds to set up a call, and then from there, whether you're on the right track or not. You'll have a little more confidence, and like, are people even interested in buying this sort of business model? Whatever it is that people are doing. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing to do.
Joe, what do they call it when like you have like a plant and then like you take off a branch and then you plant that and then that grows?
Propagating.
Cloning,
I
propagating.
think it could be
I feel
cloning
like
also.
I feel like rather than get sell a, this is specifically for drop shipping. I would rather if I had like a store that was worth over 500,000, I would rather split it. You know, break it off, turn part of it into another store, and then just sell the
The
other
full
piece for like five
category,
hundred
yeah.
thousand,
Yeah.
just to not deal with the headache of
Hmm.
selling for, you know, high six figures, seven figures. Because with dropshipping, there's just so many orders. There's so much. You're working with multiple vendors. You have returns, and so it's like it gets so complicated. Versus, you know, if you're selling an affiliate business for seven figures or like an FBA business, it's all really clean. You have the traffic, you have the affiliate sales. Boom, here you go, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's this is what we're dealing with this right now ourselves, and I think we are working with like a VC type
Hmm.
firm, and it's kind of ridiculous, honestly, the amount of stuff you have to go through to because it's just not compatible with like the way that we run these drop shipping sales. They're kind of quick and dirty, and
Exactly.
that's how I feel about it.
But I mean, it does work out, pretty well. And I think, the profit margins in general on this industry are, you know, not amazing. But I think that the fact that they're such sellable businesses like makes up for so much of that.
Yeah, and I think the margin thing is a bit like misunderstood because yeah, say 20% margin, which is kind of low if you're doing like an FBA. FBA, right? You want like 80% would be.
No.
Would say for like physical products, if you're selling like a small physical product that's your own,
Hmm.
you're usually getting between 60 to 80% margins.
As I'm sorry, I've worked in thousands of FBA businesses. Most of them are hitting like 20 to 25% net.
I think there's a
No
confusion.
no one's fucking hitting 80% on anything.
I think there's a confusion when we talk about this
Hmm.
because I think this might sound really dumb, but I think because we've had this discussion when we've looked at FBA products, and I feel like the way you define I don't even remember, but we ran into this issue before where we were saying the margin was two different things. And I think it was more like
Yeah.
What Zach was saying. It's like 30%, but what we're saying, I don't even know how to.
So here's in general, like,
Like the cost of the
yeah,
product before all the
yeah,
stuff comes in.
if you're just taking the sale price minus cost of product, then it looks big, but you have 30% of that's going to Amazon, plus like
Right, right. So, but what I'm saying is,
like 20 to 30.
what I'm saying is, in that type of business, you are actually buying the product up front and you're paying for all that, and then you're getting that percentage out on the end. With the drop shipping, you're not actually paying for that stuff.
Hmm.
You're just getting whatever the number of the profit is because you're getting the money up front and then you're just buying the product.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like when we were going through a sale, like we've had people complain about, what the net margin is, but it's not like we're spending all the money to land these $1,000 products ourselves and we're paying for warehouse costs and inventory, etc. We're not even really paying for inventory. All we're doing is making the sale, and then you get the couple $100 profit up front. So typically, I like to, when I look at like a profit on a store, I think it's more helpful to compare it to like advertising costs because that's the actual thing that you're fronting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you're putting in for sure.
Hmm.
And then when you make the sale, then that's, whatever you shell out, whatever that money is, you get paid and you're done.
Hmm.
So Zach, given since you are involved in the Amazon FBA space and know some of these brokers, where do you anticipate the multiples going over the next 5 or 10 years on online businesses like websites, FBA businesses, dropshipping sites? What do you see happening?
don't think I'm able to give a answer for a 5 to 10 year type of thing, because we can see just how much can happen even in the last 2 years. I think right now is an excellent time to sell because, one, a lot of very easy government money is propping up a lot of individual buyers.
Hmm.
So they have very easy financing right now, and that's one of the trends that have brought online businesses valuations way up. The other, for a lot of the aggregators and stuff, um, you're already seeing some of the smaller aggregators. I think for Amazon FBA businesses specifically, some of them are already either getting pushed out of the market or failing because a lot of their math relied on being able to scoop up these Amazon businesses at like a 2 to 3x multiple, and now it's up to like 5 to 6. And so you have brokers trying to do everything that they can possibly do to find cheaper businesses. They're even opening up offices in China where they're able to get businesses at a lower valuation, and that allows them, the arbitrage opportunity. Where right now in America, if they're already paying 6x for an Amazon business, there's not a lot of room for them to buy it more profitably.
Can we define what an aggregator is?
Yeah, so aggregators in kind of Amazon talk are these companies that have raised, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're trying to buy up as many profitable Amazon companies as they can. And so they might buy these for 2 to 3x, but once they get involved in this big aggregator, it might be a 10x valuation for the entire roll up, the aggregators. So it's been working quite well. You have Thrasio is one of the big ones right now, Berlin Brands Group, Perch. All three of those are at either $1 or $2 billion of capital, which is insane.
So when you talk about their valuation after you said you buy something for 2 to 3, but then there's a whole big conglomerate, so they're worth 10x.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually selling the aggregation, right? It's just like how they be valued by.
They might do it later. That might be their end goal, is to sell these huge aggregations to someone like a P&G or a Unilever, something like this.
But a lot of times, like, are they just being valuated so they can get more funding?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big race to who can get the biggest aggregator and the most money, and their funding partners will give them a bunch of money and basically say you need to spend this by X date, and so they need to go out and buy businesses very quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this could be a whole separate discussion. Maybe we'll, because this is honestly something that we've been discussing amongst ourselves because, we're dealing with this issue of this bigger exit and dealing with aggregators and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of ironic that it made its way to this stream, but I mean, it makes sense given your exit. So 4 days. You worked on the store for about like a year and a half, you said, before you
sold? Like probably about a year seriously, and then like a year and a half just like the extra half year just kind of getting familiar with it and fucking up a lot.
So we have some questions in the chat here. Well, first let me ask you, what would you, for someone just starting out right now, like what would be like the biggest piece of advice that you would give them?
So spend more on ads. Try and get up to $100 a day on ads. Anytime that I had a store that was not doing as much, it was I just wasn't really spending enough to get the traffic to figure stuff out. Stick with it, but not if it's if you're running into some very obvious huge problems. Come up with a process to handle getting more suppliers automatically. Like I have someone, their job is to call 10 suppliers a day, every day, do the research, find that. And they're doing that every single day without me getting the paperwork back. And then I have another VA that fills out all the paperwork, sends it. And then another team in like Pakistan that is uploading all the products. So every day there might be 100, 200 new products on my stores without me even thinking about this.
That's smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of advice. I mean, check out your um, sites on every different screen that you can, because I like for probably the first couple months, I had my big 32-inch monitors, my big gaming laptops, all this stuff, and so some of the problems that were visible at like 13-inch screens and stuff like that, I didn't notice at all. Um, and I've been doing digital marketing for years, and I just never really thought to check on that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as and that's why I was impressed in your course when you're like, oh, for the Empire theme on like the sticky header or Shoptimized, you need to stop the sticky header because it takes up so much room on the page. And like small stuff like my images were the wrong aspect ratio, taking up too much room, and it pushed things in weird ways. I'm not going to lie, as soon as I fixed that, I doubled my sales every week after that. Like, it was absolutely insane that I was doing like 30K a month before that, and then after I fixed that, it was 70K a month every month at least. Something that fucking dumb led to such ridiculous results. Look at product pages from every big site. I mean, like Home Depot, Appliances Connection, Wayfair, like all your competitor sites, and figure out, is there anything cool that they're doing. I mean, I had a little thing under the add to cart because I wasn't charging sales tax. That's all, like, the price you see is the price you pay. Like, here's why. Call us if you have questions. I had a big phone number above my add to cart, and if they click that on mobile, it just calls me. Um, getting as many people to start conversations as possible. Just having better copy on kind of the like chatbot thing that comes up, and really just spending a lot of time looking at these different product pages and thinking about what you can do better is really going to help.
Yeah, that can't be overstated. Just looking at like a bunch of websites until your eyes start to melt. That's important.
Yeah, I think you've kind of took it home. How it's like, there's a bunch of key things that you have to do. There's like the 80-20, but also there is a bunch of little minutia that add up that go towards customer experience and just getting, when it comes to getting a sale that can land you $5,000 profit, then it's like, if you could just capture that one person, if you do that little thing, then it makes a really big difference, especially when we're talking valuations. It's like you get one extra $5,000 sale a month. What does that do for, when you cash out? So I really liked your points.
Yeah, and Zach, I don't know if did you have a hard cutoff at 4? You said this was kind of like the last hour you were available.
No, it's all good. My friend's flight was delayed, I think, an extra hour or two, so I'm all good.
Okay, so I guess let's get to some questions in the chat here. So Sean says, "Hey, Happy New Year's, guys. How did you go about starting and growing a store with the shipping problems?" Well, yeah. What is that? What do you say, Zach?
You just kind of gotta deal with it now and learn that, if you're facing a shipping problem from the supplier, most likely everyone else is too. Very few people are buying these and keeping them in stock, depending on the item that you're having. And so you just need to explain to the customer, one, you need to have the knowledge to direct them to alternative products if that does happen. But if everything is out of stock, you just say, hey, supplier said it's going to come in around here. It's an estimated date, and we'll give you a call around then. But if you want to get in line for this, you got to do it now. And then also bring up, most of these suppliers have been increasing their prices like crazy. So you use that. You say, like, look, if you come back in a month and you buy this, it might be $300 more. Look, you can cancel anytime. Just keep the order with us and we'll send it out as soon as we can. And usually now people are used to it. If you're doing this now, people are understanding much more than 2020. 2020, they had no idea what the fuck was going on. now people are okay to wait.
Right. And these shipping issues we talk about, like, there's a lot of back orders, things aren't going to be normal till next year, whatever. It's still really not an excuse to say, oh, I can't get started because, there's shipping issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you still, we've seen people go from zero to doing really well, within the last year. And it's like, yeah, some products have these issues. Some products are in stock. Other products are coming in. They get in there eventually. So it's just one of those things that, you can't experience and understand until you're in it. And then to be in it, you just have to do it and get started and start making sales.
The one thing though is you do need to keep like a running counter of how much cash you need in the bank to cover some of those orders. So make sure you're not taking out more than you think. Because with high ticket drop shipping, it could be really easy to think you're making a lot of money, but then you realize like you might have like 200K in the bank or something. But then if you look at your open orders, like you need to know exactly how much to cover that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should without.
Did you have a special like accounting system for doing this, or was it just kind of a running? How did you track all that?
Yeah, I kind of built something and had my VAs like have just a general thing like twice a week. They would say we need to have at least this much in the bank to cover this much open orders. Here's the cost for each of these things, and that way I made sure that for the most part I was all good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we knew someone that didn't really understand that concept. Didn't really even look at their ads, run P&Ls for quite a while, and things came crashing down for them. I think they were contemplating bankruptcy, and there was like a younger kid.
If you're really screwed, you can use like a line of credit or something. You can be approved pretty quickly for up to like 30, 40, 50K. Like
the problem was they weren't even making money. Like they weren't even making money this whole time because they were just running ads.
Mm-hmm.
They worked with like someone else. We're not really affiliated with them, but we just heard the story. They started running ads like crazy, not even calculating like if they were making money or not. And then, yeah, boom, like couldn't pay for any back orders when it came down to it. I had to like shut down their store. And I presume our audience wouldn't do such a thing because
Yeah, this was a younger kid that doesn't have the type of acumen that our audience has.
Yeah, it's just a really important thing to state because it can look like you have a ton of cash and then you realize like you also have a ton of liabilities. So.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. If you you can't just collect back orders without keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
That's a recipe for a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But what was the next question? Zack, how many other stores do you have and how well are they performing? Do you plan on scaling these stores?
I think I have like 6 other stores. I get sales throughout the month on a lot of them, but I'm not seriously pushing them right now. I kept the wife of my main employee that went with the sale, and so she's able to do pretty much, just order fulfillment on that. And when it gets probably around like March, April, I'll push those harder and see if I can find one I want to push all the way to an exit.
So you're in take it easy mode right now?
Yeah, I'm going down to Colombia. I'm going to be in party mode. I'm not in serious running this mode because like also like for pretty much all the sites that I'm running, summer is the peak. So you want to start running those again more around like March, April instead of like January, February when it's a little bit slower and tough anyways. Ideally like what I would do is just shut off some of the sites during January, February, March, and then turn them back on. But people that are buying your store don't like to see that. And Google doesn't like that for SEO reasons.
For sure. Dan asked, do either of you guys bother with setting up an ad schedule, like making sure your ads don't show in the middle of the night, or is this not worth tampering with?
I mean, it depends pretty heavily on your niche. For me, I mean, the biggest customers are people that are at their job and buying. And so like doing it between 9 to 6 p.m. made a lot of sense. And I get some sales outside of that. But in general, I'm not you might want to just do like a negative 25%, maybe between midnight and 6 a.m. or something. But in general, it's not going to be the biggest driver of results. If you mess with that, that's going to be like your extra like 1 or 2% of results. One thing I will say about, while we're on the topic of adjustments, one stealth thing that I do that now I can say because I had an exit, and I think I said in your group, is I pump up the ads like, double the bid within 100 miles of the warehouse for each of the different brands. And so I actually get a lot of people to go and pick up the item at the warehouse. And so I save, a crazy amount on the shipping. And I'll tell you like how crazy this can get. Like one day in the summer, I got a call, and this guy's like, "Hey, I want 2 units of this," and I recognize the area code on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, are you close to like Cherry Hill, New Jersey?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You want to go pick this up? You can have it today." And they're like, "Oh my god, thank you." And so I like sent off the order and like got that process, sent them the instructions, and I got another call like 15 minutes after this. "Hey, I'm looking also for these like 2 units." And I'm like, "Wait, are you also by Cherry Hill, New Jersey?" I just had someone go pick it up. And so literally within 30 minutes, I did more than 10K of orders from these 2 guys, and they both went to pick it up, and I made like $3,000 profit in 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
You have a lot of tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, you got to.
You're like a wizard.
Is that why wizards have such big sleeves? They keep tricks up there?
I got short sleeves. So.
But yeah, Dan, to answer your question, from my point of view, so we've personally never really done ad scheduling because, like Zach said, it's not really something that's going to give you a huge level of results. And people certainly buy, that's why all the infomercials are on at like 2 a.m. and stuff, because people are in a dupe state that they'll just, make a decision. And yeah, so I mean, we get sales overnight all the time for various things. So I wouldn't recommend it starting out. I think it's like one of those things,
that's like
things like maybe you could do that's like going to push them over the edge. It's not. But, like Zach said, if you want to do a bid adjustment, because you can look at your results, right? You can see your conversions, and if it's just like wildly skewed towards one particular time, you can bid adjust, either bidding down for off hours or bidding up for on hours. But we've never had to do that, running multiple stores and selling a lot of them. So most likely it's not something that will be making or breaking your success. Aaron asked, "How much did you buy the store for? Any site recommendations to buy stores?"
I am not going to put that out because the new buyer will not be happy.
Sure. So, what are the best sites to find suppliers?
So shopping, man. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Seven Tech, if you've seen many of our videos, but we recommend not using directories if that's kind of what you're asking. There's not going to be one site you go to that's going to have a bunch of suppliers. You need to research on your own and get in contact with manufacturers themselves.
The supplier research part takes about 15 minutes, and you can train any of your VAs to do this. You pop in the main niche on Google Shopping. You can hit their smaller store thing or look at different niche sites, not something like Home Depot or something. Open those up, grab all those suppliers, put all those products back into Google Shopping, grab all those things, and literally in 20 minutes you have like 400 suppliers. And I start all my stores that way. I just tell someone to go do that. Then I have another person call all those people, and that's it.
Yeah. Joe and I did a video for some of the new modules where we do that type of process essentially. And in 20 minutes, like we're kind of like talking and BSing, and we find, like I said, 10, 15 minutes, we found like 26 different product types. And so within those product types, there's going to be X amount of suppliers, and you see all the product types that each supplier has, and it's like an infinite crawl of data you can get.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, this is the easy part. And don't feel afraid to call these people up and call those suppliers. Like they're friendly people. They want you to sell their stuff. Like they want you to contact them.
So that is, I'll skip to the front and mention something Sean the Don just said. The problem I've been having is getting more suppliers via email. So I don't know why you're specifying via email. A lot of times if you call suppliers, especially in the US, that will go a much longer way because you do have to apply a little bit of persuasion. It's not like a robotic process where every supplier is going to automatically let you in. You have to kind of, it's relationship building because these people are going to be the ones that you work with for, a couple of years at least before you sell your store. So it is an important part of the process, and you can't always just email your way there 100% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very phone call heavy business. Whether it's you doing it or someone else, a lot of phone calls need to be made. Whether you're calling freight companies because they fucked up, whether you're calling suppliers because they fucked up, or just to call them in general, whether you're calling customers, phone calls need to happen a lot. Get a Skype number, make it happen.
Right. And what's funny is that, like in the UK, we've heard a lot of our students talk about how suppliers don't like calls. I think people in the UK are more like shy. I don't know what the word is, but we see that a lot. That like a lot of suppliers don't want to talk over the phone. They'd rather talk email. But this is very US.
It's super niche dependent too, because there are some niches I've entered, like some of the outdoor stuff. No one will fucking pick up the phone during like non-peak season stuff, and I'm like, don't these people want money? Because customers would want to call them too, right? And they're not picking up. But then you have other industries like the sports stuff. First ring, hey, what's up? I can help you. So it's very dependent, and you want to work with suppliers you can get on the phone. Just when you have a problem, you don't want to wait for an email response. You want to be able to talk with them immediately.
Exactly.
Amen.
Matt says, if brands say that they don't drop ship, what angle should I take to persuade them?
Yeah, so you don't actually need to say that you're drop shipping. You're just a vendor. You're just buying from them. So you can say, hey, I'd love to open a vendor account, and you can arrange the shipping. If their problem with drop shipping is they don't want to do the shipping on this, you can get a truck, pick it up from their warehouse, send it to the customer. And as long as you have, a solid website, you look like a real business, they'll probably go for that because they like money.
Exactly. And very important point. We don't want to use that word. It's a very dirty word, the DS word. Because it has no application when it comes to what we're doing. Yeah, it's just like you're shipping from the supplier warehouse to the customer. But like, even like you said, you can arrange it yourself. And is that drop shipping? I don't know. So I think when you use that word with suppliers, it gives like a little bit of a negative connotation versus, you're just a vendor. You're going to make them money. And whether you do that through, they're going to ship to the supplier on their account, or you're going to use your account. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess
we're running low on time here.
That about wraps it up. Well, thanks so much for coming on the stream, Zach. There's somewhere, like, do you want to shout out somewhere people could find you? I don't know. Do you want to be found?
Hard to find.
Yeah, it depends. So, if you're in Mike and Joe's group, feel free to hit me up on the Discord. I love talking with tons of people on there from their group. So if you're in that group, hit me up. If you want to sell any of your sites, whether it's a content site, affiliate site, whatever, you can go to empireflippers.com/Zack. You can hit me up at Zack, Z-A-C-K, at amzkungfu.com. But if you send me an email and you just say like, hi, like I will completely ignore it and throw it in the trash. You need to actually write something. Same thing if you message me on Facebook, I'm pretty easy to find there. Don't say hi, hello, something like, explain who you are, how you want to talk, what's going on. And that's just the best way to do it.
Awesome, man. Well, pleasure having you on. I'm glad, we were able to provide you value in some sort of way, and congrats on the success.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Looking forward to continuing to watch all your content and chilling out in the Discord. So,
Well,
Yeah.
awesome, man.
looking
Thank you,
forward to it.
guys, and
Bye, guys.
take it easy.